네, 드디어 시작했습니다. We are live now. Hi, welcome back to Talk to Me in Korean. This is going to be a live class about how to learn Korean vocabulary faster and more effectively. Thank you for joining. And if you're watching a recording, thanks for watching as well. So this is going to be a very useful lesson for you. So either whether you are studying with our books and online courses, we have a lot of books, as you know, if you are new to our channel, and we have more than 60 different online courses on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. Whether you're studying with our courses and books, or whether you are studying with other materials that you're using, vocabulary is going to be something that you will eventually find yourself struggling with, at least to a degree. So I want to address that topic today in this live class. And instead of just talking about how to learn vocabulary, talking about how to learn vocabulary is going to be a very important topic, and we're going to do that. But instead of just focusing on how to, we are actually going to learn some new vocabulary that you will find super useful using our recently published book, My First 500 Korean Words, Book 2. So I'm going to be showing you the content of the book, and actually give you some examples of how to learn Korean vocabulary faster and more effectively, so that after you learn something, once, you will remember it longer and better, and you will be able to use it in more diverse situations. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get started without further ado. So thanks for tuning in. A lot of people are here saying hi. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Let me quickly say hi to everyone. 안녕하세요. Where are you joining from? I'm here in Seoul, South Korea, as you all know. It's currently raining outside, and it's probably going to stop raining soon. 비가 오랜만에 오고 있어요. It hasn't rained for a really long time, and at least for a whole month or so, it didn't rain. And today we're getting some rain finally. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 안녕 from California. 기대되네요. 두근두근 하셨어요. 두근두근 is a good word. 두근두근. Let me actually take a screenshot and share it. If you're new to our live sessions here on YouTube, this is what we do. Whenever we address a comment or answer a question, I'd like to take a screenshot so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Here, 두근두근 is an onomatopoeia word describing the sound of your heart beating. 두근두근. Your heart is beating loudly because you're looking forward to something, you're excited about something, or when you're nervous about something. And then here, this is a fun word. I personally don't say it out loud verbally, but I see it all the time. 가즈아. If you actually pronounce it like that, 가즈아, it's not the same thing that people imagine. So you have to say it like 가자. So this is like 가자, let's go in casual language, 반말. But it's used when you are excited about something, and it's kind of like fighting, but in a more slangy manner. 안녕하세요. Okay, let me refresh the comments. Okay, the chat box is full of greetings from various places around the world, from Indonesia, Australia, 독일, Taiwan. One of my co-workers is actually traveling to Taiwan soon this month. 그 다음에 인도, 캐나다, 러시아, 독일, 텍사스, 필리핀, 영국, 그 다음에 서울에 계시는 분도 많이 계시네요. 신림동, Switzerland, France. Awesome. So, thank you. How are you guys? I'm doing really, really well. Very happy to meet you through this public live, because this is the first time that we're doing this year, I believe. It's been a while. We've been doing our regular live classes on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. So if you want to review the beginner level lessons with me after studying on your own, you can join me there as well at talktomeinkorean.com/live classes. And if you visit right now, we're also having a sale. So if you catch me, if you're watching this recording as a recording during within 2 weeks, from the live date, you will be able to also get a discount from our books and our course subscription. Okay, so let's warm up a little more by having you share, because we're talking about vocabulary, learning vocabulary faster and more effectively. What are some new words that you learned recently? Please share those words with everyone in the chat. Please share some new words, new Korean words that you learned recently. 최근에 배운 새로운 단어 뭐 있어요? 최근에 배운 새로운 단어 뭐 있어요? 출입국 관리사무소, immigration. Yeah, immigration, the immigration office. Okay, I will actually scroll through the comments and see if there's an interesting word I want to introduce, okay? All right, 출입국 관리사무소. I'm going to take a screenshot. And then, 깜짝이야, 시기, 케이크 주세요. Not a word per se, but it's a good phrase. And then, 그 다음에 송곳니, canine tooth, fang, 송곳니. 그 다음에 내용, it's a good word, 내용. Very useful, commonly used every day. And then what else? 그 다음에 뒷북치다. Okay, 뒷북치다 is a good word. Or, yeah, it's a word, expression, verb, phrase. Okay. 뽀송뽀송하다. Okay. So, I asked you to share some new words that you learned recently, right? And you are typing in the chat. And obviously, for obvious reasons, we won't be able to go over everything, every single word together. I mean, I wish I could, and I love doing that actually. I enjoy going into details about the word origin of each word. But just by having you, just by typing in the chat, you are bound to remember the certain words a little better, a little longer. And if you hesitated a little bit before typing, what was the spelling? Am I typing it correctly? If you wondered that, if you asked yourself that, that's also going to add to the efficiency of your learning of the word. Okay? That's good. All right. So that's enough. Those are enough words. And this is a good exercise for brain boosting. Styles Q says. All right, so thank you, and we are going to go over some new words that we are going to learn here. But before we do that, let's quickly look at all the words that I actually shared on the screen. I hope you can see everything well. I hope the font is big enough. So keep the words coming. That's good. So 출입국 관리사무소. When you look at it, 출입국, 출입국 관리사무소, it's often just translated in English to the immigration office. So that's where you get your visa renewed, right? As a foreigner in Korea. And I've never been to this office because I don't have to, but I hear from my friends from other countries that going to this place is sometimes a nightmare. You can either just memorize it, like 출입국 관리사무소, 출입국 관리사무소, or just break it down into the small elements. 출 is 출입국 as in 출입국. 출 is to go out. 입 is going in. So 출국 is leaving the country. 입국 is entering the country. So together it's 출입국 altogether. 출입국 is going out or entering, going out of or entering the country. 관리 is control or management. 사무소 is similar to 사무실, office. Your work office, where you work, is usually 사무실. It's more like a room, cozy room kind of vibe. 사무소 is an official government office where you get things issued or you report things. So that's 사무소. So that's the name, 출입국 관리 사무소. So you can break things down like that and maybe try to use it in a sentence. 송곳니. What's I know 송곳, but I don't immediately recall the word for 송곳 in English. It's pick. It's a gimlet, 송곳. So canine tooth or 송곳. Canine tooth or fang is 송곳니. And if you think of the actual tool, the gimlet, you know, the fangs or canine tooth that you have in your mouth looks like that sharp tool. So that's why it's called 송곳니. 내용 is the contents of something. So you look at the books and you see the 내용, and you watch a drama and you tell your friends about the 내용 of the drama, like 드라마 내용이 뭐야? 드라마 무슨 내용이야 is something that you would ask. So really good words. 뒷북치다 when you are a little late to some kind of news, like everybody else knew about something, and then you are like excited about hearing the news for the first time. And 뽀송뽀송하다 is when somebody takes a shower, especially like babies. The skin is really, really like clean and it's not like it's super dry. It's moist and nice feeling. So that's 뽀송뽀송하다. So great words. All right. So that was our warm-up. And now let's get started with how to learn vocabulary faster and more efficiently. This warm-up, where I had you share your recently acquired vocabulary knowledge, is actually part of a very natural and efficient process of learning Korean vocabulary or any language's vocabulary. So, common processes of learning new vocab. Let's talk about this. Will this video be available later? Yes, this will be available later, and yeah, you can watch this again to review. So let's look at this. And after looking at the overall process of, or processes of learning how a new word is learned, usually by learners, let's talk about how you can improve your own process of learning Korean vocabulary and actually try to do that together with the book. And then at the end of the live session, we will have a Q&A session where you can ask me lots of Korean questions and I will try to address as many questions as possible. And I see Barbie asking, hello, I'm a beginner, or saying that they're a beginner. You're welcome to join because beginner learners can benefit from this for sure. So learning new vocab is not that complicated. It's quite simple actually. It's not easy, but it's simple. So because there are several elements that you will be doing. So I've divided these into these 5 elements. So let me explain what they are. So first, when you learn a new word, look at all the new words that everybody shared in the chat, or all the words that I just, introduced, right? First, you look at it, and if you already knew the elements of the new word and you understood it, 이해 means understanding. So 이해하다 is to understand. So if you do 이해 of the word, you don't have to memorize it. Like if you see something for the first time, but you already get it, you notice how it must be, it must have that meaning that it has, you get it, right? So for example, 손, you know the word for your hand, 손, and you know the word for your neck. Do you know the word for your neck? It's 목, right? 목. Or the throat is also 목. So when somebody says your 목, their 목 hurts, you're not really sure whether their throat hurts or their neck hurts. So yeah, so you have 손 and 목, 간, you're correct. You can say 목 for your neck. And then you learn the Korean word, let me type it here, 손목. you learn the word 손목 for the first time, you see it for the first time, but fortunately you know the word 손, you know the word 목, and you combine these two words together. Okay, so the neck of your hand, that's your wrist. So by understanding it, by noticing how it works, you already have mastered this word. So if you understand it, it's already done, okay? So let me actually put everything side by side because there will be some other words that I want to type in between. I want you to see the whole thing. So a good guess. This is something that you want to do too. I see a question here from a guess from Khan. 손머리 is palm. So here, because you know 손, this part, this palm is actually 손바닥. 바닥 means floor or ground. So this is when you have your hand like facing upward like that. This is the floor or the bottom. Somebody like stands on it. It's the bottom, right? It's the floor. So 손바닥. So you understand it and you are good. Or if you looked at it and it's just completely new, everything's just totally new, you don't understand it, you don't automatically get it right away, then you will have to 암기하다, to memorize. 암기하다 or 외우다, to memorize. You have to memorize. And that's something that's a necessity. You can't avoid it completely. And then after you memorize something, you will have to repeat the process because you will forget some of those words because it's a natural process of learning anything. So you will repeat, repetition. And then, so here is understanding. And a crucial part of learning vocabulary faster and more efficiently, effectively is experience of using the words. So 사용 경험, the experience of using the words. So you learn the word 손목 earlier as a random example that I just mentioned in passing, 손목, and you're like, okay, I got it, I understand it, 손목. But then the next time you have to say your wrist, it might not come out because you don't have any prior experience of using it. So what you want to do is try to make your own sentence or write it somewhere on Twitter or on Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you can, or send a KakaoTalk message to your friend using the word 손목, and you have one experience of using the word. And then the more experiences you have, the closer you will get to mastering the word forever, right? And then 복습, reviewing. Review is also necessary. These are the 5 elements of learning new vocabulary in any language, I believe. But what's actually keeping a lot of learners from actually doing it better is they focus on these 2 steps a little too much. So again, you have to, when you see a new word, you want to try to understand it, and I will help you understand how to do that. And then if you don't understand it, then you will have to memorize it and then repeat it. And then after you do that, you will have to try to use it and then review. But a lot of people just focus on this because they open. So for example, we have this book right here, my weekly Korean vocabulary. By the way, all the books that I'm introducing in this live class right now, in this video, if you open the description below this live feed, you will see a link to everything in the description. So you see that, okay, for example, 배우다, it's an easy word for many learners already. 배우다 is to learn. So a lot of people do the second step and the third step only. So 배우다, to learn. 배우다, to learn. Okay, what is to learn? 배우다. And a lot of apps, flashcard apps, will test your knowledge like 5 minutes later, 3 minutes later, and you get it. You think you know it. But then next day, you're like, what was to learn? You forget. So it's because you didn't do the first step and the fourth and the fifth step. So again, here, remember that you can't just focus on trying to memorize and repeat the process to understand everything really well. So let's actually put that to real use by, let's learn some new words by using our book. And I have conveniently prepared another screen for you with the contents of the book. So this is my first 500 Korean words book 2. I was actually surprised earlier when I put this up for the first time in front of this completely green screen. It's green and this didn't key out. So I was like, okay, this must be a different type of green. Maybe this portion, yeah, we have some green surfaces here and it's white. But anyway, this is exactly what it looks like. And I thought it would be nice to study with day 8. Who has already studied with this book already? Let me know. If you're already on day 8, this is a good review for you. So here, day 8. You see these words. So this is how our book, or this book, is designed. First, you see 10 different words that you're going to learn in that chapter. So each chapter is divided into days, and there are 50 days in this book, so you can ideally study every day for an hour or so, or a little less. If you read fast, if you study fast, it'll only take like maybe 30 minutes each day, and then you can learn 10 words each day over the course of 50 days, and you will learn 500 words, and then also learn some related expressions and words. So at first you see 서로, and let's just read all the words together. 서로, each other. 서로 means each other. 별명, 별명 is a nickname. 반말 is casual language, 반말. 마음대로, 마음대로 is as you wish, as as one wishes, the way you want. 반팔 is a short sleeve t-shirt or shirt. 슬리퍼 is slippers, flip-flops. And 자유롭다 is to be free, okay? And 굉장히 means very, quite, really. 굉장히 is one of those words, one of those millions of words that mean very in the Korean language. And 낯설다, 낯설다 means to be unfamiliar, and 익숙하다 is to be familiar. So 낯설다 and 익숙하다 are antonyms, they are opposites. So you see words like that, and I said that at first when you encounter a new word, you will have to, so let me type some of these words here. 별명, 반말, 마음대로, 반팔. So here. At first, what you want to do is, do you remember? The first step you want to do is 이해, or see if you can 이해 without or before having to go through the industrious 암기 phase of the learning experience. So look at it and see if you can kind of already get it. 서로? Do I know something similar to 서로, or have I heard it before? And if the answers are no, you just have to, okay, I'll have to memorize it. So you can label it as 외워야 될 단어, words to memorize. And 별명, 반말, 마음대로, 반팔. These 4 words are all good examples of the second method that you can use. The second thing that you want to do is, if you see a new word and see if you can break it down. Ask yourself, can I break this word down into smaller elements that I can understand better, or something that I already know? So for example, so put these two words together, 반말 and 반팔. Okay, 반말 and 반팔. Okay, I might be mistaken, but these two words have the same letter here, 반팔 and 반말. Maybe they are related, so you break these words down into two parts, 반팔 and 반말. So if 반 is common between these two words, this has got to mean something. So let's look it up. And it turns out 반 means half. So again, it doesn't have to be an element that you already know. This will happen more naturally and more frequently as you progress further up, I guess, the level system, as you go from level 1 to level 2, level 2 to level 3, you will recognize more and more words or elements that you already know. But you can just look it up if it can be a new piece of information. And then you understand that it's pan is half. And then 팔 is your arm. So you look up the word, the definition is short sleeve. Then you connect the two. Okay, short sleeve. Sleeve is itself is 소매. So Korean people, Korean speakers, they call short sleeve t-shirts and shirts 반팔, half arm. So it comes down to half the length of your arm, right? So, oh, I see, 반팔. And 반말, if you look at the origin of the word, 반말 means casual language. We have an actual course coming on how to use 반말 professionally or really naturally. So 반말 actually originally means half language. It's shorter because you're dropping all the yo's and nidas at the end. So I see. So by looking at various examples of 반, so and understanding that it's half, you have the meaning of 반 meaning half more engraved in your brain. Sometimes though, you will also stumble upon words that might confuse you, that might mislead you, because like the example timeless 9492 said 반찬. This 반찬 doesn't have the same meaning as 반찬, the 반팔's 반. Let me actually verify that, because 반찬's 반 is actually based on Chinese. So fan is 반 in Korean. So this has nothing to do with the meaning of half, but you try and see it doesn't work, and then you erase it from the list. So here, 소매, and then what you want to do is look around the dictionary and find other things. Oh, you will see in the related search results, 반소매 also exists, and 긴소매 also exists. 반소매 is long, half sleeve, short sleeve, long sleeve, and if you get lucky, you will also find this word 민소매. 민 means without. So 민소매 is the jerseys, the basketball jerseys kind of thing. So 민소매, sleeveless. So just by looking at 반팔, or just by learning the word 반팔 and by trying to break everything down into smaller elements, you get new words that you will probably remember longer as a group, and they're related to each other, so it's more difficult to forget everything altogether. Okay? Film 42 TV, our regular participant on our YouTube channel, thank you. 반찬 it might sound like it's half meal, a small meal, and if it works for you, if you can remember it like that, even though the original actual word origin is different, that's not a bad thing either. A lot of children actually learn like that. A lot of small children in Korea, they attach their arbitrary interpretations of words that are not correct, but it just works for them, so they work with that. All right, and then another example, 별명. You see this word and you see that it's not something you can understand completely just by looking at it, so you break it down. 별명. And then this is book 2. So compared to book 1 here, it doesn't say book 1, but this is book 1. The words are a little more advanced, so you will see slightly more Sino-Korean based words or formal sounding words. These are going to be absolutely essential too. But 별명 is based on Chinese characters. 별명. So 별 is the same 별 as 특별, special, or a different thing. So you break it down into 별 and 명. Okay, 별. So you look up words related to 별. And when you want to look things up, what you want to do is go to a dictionary website or an app and just type this 별 and use this asterisk symbol. What this does in dictionaries, at least in Korean dictionaries, is that it shows words that begin with 별. And 별 coincidentally also means a star. It's not related to this 별, this letter, but if you just type 별, any letter that you want to find words that start with, you say 별, you type that letter and then add an asterisk symbol, and then it'll show many words that start with that. And what you also can do is start with an asterisk and end the search keyword with the letter that you have in mind, and it'll show many words, multiple words that end with 별. So that's what you can do to try to find the fish around for words that you might want to remember in your brain together as a group so that you can remember everything a little better. I have a question here. Let me actually quickly address this and move on to the next part. So now that we are talking about some Hanja-based words. What is Hanja? Hanja is Chinese characters, Hanja or Hanja. These are Chinese characters used inside the Korean language. And Hanjao these are words that use Hanja but are written in Korean letters, which is Hangul. So do you see the distinction? So when you say that you study Hanja, you actually study the Chinese characters that are completely different from Hangul, right? Hangul, you just learn 24 characters and you can form various, tens of thousands of syllables. Hanja, you have to learn each and every one of them separately, although there are some strokes that are put together to form new words. But so those are Hanja. Hanja, o means language, or it can mean a word, as in 단어. Hanja, they're never written in Chinese characters. They're all just written in Hangul. Do you absolutely need to learn Hanja? No. We do have a Hanja book, and learning Hanja characters, Chinese characters that are used in Korea that are a little different from the Chinese characters that you will see in Chinese or Japanese, it'll help. But is it absolutely necessary? No. Is it necessary to learn Hanja o? Yes. That's why we made that book, and that's why that book is going to be a tremendous amount of help for expanding your Korean vocabulary. So learn Hanja o, and it's like, ignoring Hanja or Hanja o is kind of like ignoring Latin-based or Greek-based words in English, because there are so many words that come from those roots. Okay, so I wanted to address this question. I wanted to put all the questions toward the end altogether, but I wanted to address it because we are mentioning some Hanja-based words. So add an asterisk to find words that are related to each other that can help you understand or learn new words as a group. Here, lastly, let me just put this down here. 마음대로. Here, let me go over to this one. 마음대로, as you can see, is the fourth word for that day, day 8 of our book, My First 500 Korean Words, book 2. And so let's go to the actual page over here that you see. Where is 마음대로? Okay. Oh yeah, I see it here. So what you do is, let me show you, let me make it a little bigger. So 마음대로 is as one pleases at one's will. So vocabulary books will, will be limited in the paper canvas size. So it won't be able to do all the work for you. So you will have to do this portion on your own. So 마음대로 is as one pleases at one's will. And we have a sample sentence like this. 네 마음대로 해도 돼. You can do whatever you want. You can do as you please. 네 마음대로 해도 돼. Should I leave the door open? Should I leave the door closed? Should I come at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? 네 마음대로 해도 돼. 마음대로 해도 돼. You can do as you want. So that's what the book will give you. Any book or any course, any lesson, any teacher will give you at least a sample sentence, right? If you have a book that doesn't offer you any kind of context or sample sentences, I don't think that's a good book. So here, for example, My Daily Routine in Korean. This is our smallest book, like the easiest to carry kind of book. And this book is a picture dictionary. So it doesn't give you sample sentences, but it gives you this context through this drawing of the situation or the visual cues. So you will at least need to work with something that gives you that. So that's that. But you want to kind of look at it. Oh, 마음대로. I kind of know. I know 마음, if you know. 마음 is your heart, like as in your heart desires something, not your organ as, the blood circulation organ. That's 심장. Heart or mind is 마음. Your intention is 마음. So 마음대로. If 마음대로 is something that exists, is there like other so-and-so 대로's that exist? So what you want to do is, I'm not showing you right now, but you can do it on your computer with me. I'm putting an asterisk, the symbol asterisk, and then typing 대로 in the dictionary. And here are the actual results that I see. 멋대로, 뜻대로, and what else? Here, 그대로. So here, where else? What else? 되는 대로. Like many words, like I see dozens. 예전대로. So just because you see a bunch of so-and-so 대로, ending words, doesn't mean you have to memorize everything. It doesn't mean you have to memorize or learn everything. You just kind of have to get a feel of, so-and-so 대로. You look up a couple, that's enough. You don't want to deviate too far away from the main route that you were on. You want to kind of check, into a little bit of, path, and then you come back to the main path because you want to finish that chapter. So 마음대로, 멋 is somebody's style or way of doing something. So 멋대로 is similar, but it has a slightly more negative connotation. 뜻대로 is a little more formal sounding, but 뜻 meaning, intention. So it's similar. 그대로 is as is. That state. 그대로. 그대로 두세요. 그대로 두세요. Leave it as is. Don't touch it. 만지지 마세요. So again, back to what we were doing. First, ask yourself, can I understand this word and not, have to memorize it? If the answer is yes, like the word 손목, 발목, your ankle, great, right? Good news. You are acquiring a new word for free, right? And then if you can't, if the answer is not yes to that question, you ask yourself, can I break this word down into smaller elements that I can understand better? Then you work. Oh yes, 판서용 화면으로 바꿨습니다. Sorry about that. I was looking at the a little delayed YouTube screen. So, so you didn't see this. You didn't see me typing this. Right. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. 마음대로, 멋대로, 뜻대로, 그대로, 되는 대로, 예전대로. 예전대로 is the same as before, like before. So you ask yourself, can I just notice how it works and be done with it? If not, can I break this word down into smaller elements that I can understand better? And you don't want to spend too much time here because then again, you will never be able to finish that chapter for the day. So I used to, actually it was a mistake that I personally made. I used to spend too much time, I got too excited about every shiny discovery, every new thing that I made, I saw in the dictionary. I saw another related word. I saw another thesaurus item, another synonyms. And I used to just be distracted. But you have to come back after checking, okay, 대로, I see how it works. And now the main thing, the main character, 마음대로, is as you wish. And then suddenly you remember, you understand this really, really well. Oh, this is a good question. 대로. Yeah. So understanding how something works and finding a seemingly unrelated piece of information is not always a bad thing because, like Alice there asked, isn't 대로 also used for streets sometimes? You learn like so-and-so 대로, 대로 meaning like as so-and-so, in the same way as so-and-so, and seeing 대로, this actually helps you like expand your knowledge. You thought whatever ends with 대로 is as or the same as, but then you see like 올림픽대로. 올림픽대로 is a road, street that's kind of around, like it's below the Han River and it flows next to the Han River. It's a really long road, and you're like, what? The same as the Olympic Games? It doesn't mean that. It's 대로, big road, and you're like, okay, I shouldn't think that this is always this. So it expands your knowledge. It only expands your knowledge. So it's a good thing, all right? And then here, the third element that you need to do after trying to break everything down is, let's go back to the book screen, is you experience the word through your own stories if you can. For example, 마음대로, looking at this word, or let's use a different example. Let me just flip the page, so to speak, and look at something else. Here. 굉장히. So, 굉장히 is, I said that it's one of the many words that mean very. So here, very or extremely is the meaning of 굉장히. So you at first you say it a few times, 굉장히, 굉장히, 굉장히. These days, in addition to the dictionary apps that you can use for sound checking, pronunciation checking, of course you can use our Talk to Me Korean audio app or go to talktomekorean.com/audio to listen to the words and the sentences. But these days, the AI voice generators, they do a great job too. Not as supernatural as not like supernatural, but really natural as human voices, but they're pretty good. So you listen to it a few times, 굉장히, 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 and you are fairly certain that you're not, off by too much. You're not like too incorrect about the pronunciation. And then you look at the sample sentence that you see right in front of my face here. 죽이 굉장히 부드럽고 맛있네요. The porridge is very smooth, 굉장히 smooth and delicious. Imagine a smooth, like small, like grains, really like soft and delicious. So if it works for you, it's fine. But what if you don't like 죽? If you don't like porridge, you're not going to want to even study with this sample sentence if you don't enjoy 죽. 죽 안 좋아하면 이거 말고 다른 문장을 써야죠. So if you don't enjoy 죽, so for example, 굉장히 죽이 굉장히, so what was the sentence? 부드럽고 맛있네요. If this sentence works for you, it's convenient, it saves your time. Timeless 9492 says, I love 죽. 저도 죽을, it depends on what kind of 죽 it is, what kind of porridge, but 다 좋아하지는 않아요. 네. 그러면 바꾸는 거예요. You change it. 커피. No, 커피가 부드럽다. No. 케이크가 굉장히 부드럽고 맛있네요. You change it to something that you can see yourself, imagine yourself using. 굉장히 부드럽고 맛있네요. What else? 떡이 굉장히 부드럽고 맛있네요. So the first step is just change one noun. 두부, 좋아요. 두부가 굉장히 부드럽고 맛있네요. 이렇게 바꿀 수 있어요. You can change at first one noun. And then once you are done, once you are out of ideas, and just by writing 3 more variations, if you think that, okay, I got it. I see how it works. I know the feel. I know how this word feels. You can just go over to the next word. Or if you want more, like you can change it to something else. Instead of just changing one noun in the sentence, you can just write a completely new sentence. 여기는 굉장히 어두워요. 여기는 굉장히 어둡네요. I see that it's really dark in here. 여기는 굉장히 사람이 많네요. There's a lot of people here. 이 수업은 굉장히 재밌네요. This class is really fun. You can say something entirely different. And then, and only then, will you familiarize yourself with the word. And when you come back to the list of words and see the seemingly plain-looking sample sentence, you're like, I know this word, you know. So you have to experience it through many contexts, many senses too. So if you can hear it too, if you can have multiple people say the same word around you, to you, or near you, that's gonna always help. Okay? All right. So that was actually the main part that I wanted to introduce to you, but let me actually show you the rest of the book. So here at first we have this portion giving you the list of words that you will learn, and then in the next page what we do is with this book we show you the story, but here you can try to read the whole story because, like I said, you want to experience a certain word you're learning through various contexts and senses. So having a story will also further help you remember everything better. So instead of just having a look at the word through many angles, and instead of also only just adding a sample sentence or your own various sample sentences, you want to read a story that's written using the certain words. So 우리 회사 사람들은 서로 to each other 별명, nicknames 부르고 반말, like I said, half language, but it's casual language, 반말을 한다. So at first, you don't have to try to understand the whole sentence because you can just look at the big font words. There are the main words. 출근할 때, when you go to work, 옷도, can you see the English translation too? 마음대로 입을 수 있다. You can wear clothes as you wish. You can wear any clothes that you want. 여름에는 반팔, 반바지. You see 반바지. It's not introduced in the list of main words, but it's in the story because 반팔, 반바지, shorts, not like long pants. These are related to each other. So again, very useful because of that. So you see that, and then after that, you see the list of words that were introduced here. So 서로 means each other, and you see a sample sentence there. 별명 is a nickname, so you see a sample sentence there. If the sample sentence works for you, you can use it. If it doesn't, tweak it, change it, write a new one. 반말 means casual language. 마음대로 means as you want. I'm sure you're familiar with this word by now, right? 반팔, again, short sleeves, slipper. And then the next page, you see more words. And then the next page, you see here a review. And this time, you are asked to fill in the blanks using the main words of that chapter. 우리 회사 사람들은, what was it? Each other? 서로. Yeah, 별명을 부르고 반말을 한다. So, yeah. And then you also see some exercises here, like this one. You see a crossword puzzle. So casual language, informal language, it goes this way, 반말, and then short sleeves, no, number two, short sleeves is 반팔. Number three, each other is 서로. And then number four, as one pleases, at one's will was 마음대로. So you can, it's a fun little puzzle, not too difficult, not too complicated. And then you get to review once again. And you see another fill in the blanks exercise at the bottom of that page, and this wraps up the entire day chapter for our book. There are 50 chapters, so one chapter for that day. So let me go back to the whiteboard screen and sum it up for you. Summary. Learning new vocabulary words and expressions. So vocabulary words and I guess idiomatic phrases or grammar points are all going to be similarly applicable in this kind of aspect, but it's not going to be super easy, but it's quite simple, the process itself. So at first, when you encounter a new word, do everything you can to understand or notice how the word works and how it came to be. Okay? And then if you can't, I just actually made some notes here to help summarize things better. If you just can't master it through understanding, you will need to try to memorize it. But do it through various senses and contexts. So here, senses meaning listening, reading, sample sentences, your own sentences, saying things out loud, saying it to your friends, right? 많이 해보세요. If it's related to food, I think Yeji is talking to some of you about food. If you learned the name of a food or dish, try eating it or try looking at the images of that food and feel hungry for it, and then you will remember the word much better. And once you learn something, learn the word once again, repeat through reviews. And that's why in all of our books we have some kind of reviewing system, and also in our courses we have review tabs where you can take quizzes to see how much you understand, how much information you are retaining. And again, after reviewing, the next time you talk to somebody or the next time you write on Instagram, we also have I don't have it here, but we also have a book called My First Writing Practice in Korean that helps you write Instagram captions, Twitter posts, Facebook messages in Korean through very simple sentences, and you just have to follow like the common templates, sentence patterns, and you can do that. So try to use the new words in your own sentences. And then, no matter what, keep studying. I love this saying in Korean, 아는 만큼 보인다. 아는 만큼 보인다. This is going to happen every day. Like you learn something new and you're going to see it everywhere. Once you know something new, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. So you didn't notice a word before, but then you learned a new word through a book or a course or a YouTube video or a simple Instagram post while you are like scrolling through the feed in an elevator. And then you'd notice it, okay, oh, this is how it works, this is what it means. And then you will start seeing everywhere. There's no going back. So as you keep learning more and more, you will have more opportunities, even more reasons you will learn even more. So it keeps, snowballing like that. So everyone, I actually couldn't read many of your comments earlier because I wanted to, I was actually skimming through, but I wanted to address the main topic of today's live class. But let me go back to some of your comments and questions and try to answer that. So this is Q&A time now, and I missed it earlier, but thank you, the Legend 21, for the super chat comment. Have to sleep, sadly. Glad I could catch some of the stream. Thanks for teaching us all. I will be getting more books and lessons very soon. Thank you very much. Thanks for your love and support. 감사합니다. 네, 슈퍼챗. 한국어로는 슈퍼챗이라고 해요. 슈퍼챗 보내주셔서 감사합니다. 그리고 this is good. So again, elements, looking at the elements that consist many new words, it helps you. Like instead of learning 약속, promise only, and 결혼, marriage or wedding only, and 약혼, engagement as three separate words, you can look at maybe 약속 and 결혼 only, and then 약혼, when you hear it for the first time, you will understand it. Like you don't have to learn it. It's good. You're good. It's done. Okay. Questions? And yes, as you can see, Yeji is in the chat. She recently started her own YouTube channel, and I think she's officially competing with Talk to Me in Korean, and she's like racing toward that 1 million subscribers mark. I hope you get a lot of subscribers, Yeji, because I plug your channel every time I can. So check out her vlog. Her vlogs are always very entertaining and professionally edited. She spends way too much of her sleep time on her vlogs, so I hope she gets more views. Okay, here I see a question. I'm going to take a screenshot, actually a screenshot. It's related to the comment itself. So here, my question was about breaking down English words that sound nothing like original. Is there any secret as to how we can guess the meaning of those words? In this case, in order to understand 스샷, just upon seeing it for the first time, unfortunately, you have to know the original word, screenshot. So this is one step further, one step down the line from the English word that you are familiar with. So even for me, the first time I heard like 스샷 from somebody, like 스샷 보내주세요, 스샷 해주세요, 스샷 저장했어요, like saved the screenshot. I had to kind of take a moment to guess what it could mean. So there's no good way to guess the meaning of these abbreviated words. There are like way more abbreviations these days than like ever before. I think the number of words that are abbreviated and turning into acronyms is growing exponentially right now. Yeah. I have a question here from Louis. Let me see. Is it better to learn vocabulary by knowing what it means in English, or what it means? Like if I were to think of what P means, is it better to know what it means, or is it is water droplets from the sky? I'm not sure if I understand the question like clearly. Is it better to learn vocabulary knowing what it means in English? P. If you're asking whether it's better to embrace the word as is, like P, the water droplets, or having the English meaning as reference, I think it's always more efficient to know the meaning in English. Many words will have slightly different coverages. Like, what's a good example? 입다, 입다 is to wear or to put on. But to put on covers this portion, to wear covers this portion in English, right? But 입다 is this much. So Korean words and English meanings are going to have different areas covered, but I think it's always good to have the knowledge of the English meaning. And Kotuni says, I hear people say capture instead of 스샷 in Korea. Yeah, capture or 스샷, they're both commonly used. capture. 스크린 capture. I've never heard anyone saying 스캡 yet, but some people might start using it. How can I understand a word when there are many similar words? This is a good question. So, how can I understand a word? Or I think the included question should be, how can I know which word to use among many when there are many similar words? I find translators and dictionaries are describing it difficult or not at all. Yeah, this is something that's going to be unavoidable for learners, and this is not only for Korean learners. It's going to be the same for learning any language in the world. So it's okay. It's a natural process. At first, use in the beginning as a beginner learner or an intermediate learner. Just use whatever word comes to your mind first. Whatever you are the most familiar with, and you will be forgiven by the other person because you are a learner, even if you make a little bit of mistake. So that's fine. And then as you gain access to more contexts as you read more stories. You know, those are called like collocations. Collocations, like words that are commonly used together. So you will be able to put certain words together more frequently than with other words. So I think it's a very natural process that you cannot avoid struggling a little bit with, and that's fine. Here I have a question from Sioban. Does Talk to Me in Korean have anything that teaches through situations? Like I had to go to the dentist and there were a lot of words that were new for me. We actually have a book called we have two books, Real Life Korean Conversations for Beginners, and we have one for intermediate learners. So you will find it super useful. And we also have situational dialogues as a course on our website at talktomekorean.com. So do look at those, okay? Here, Mike PNYC says this. Learning vocabulary and practicing conversation now is the best help. Learning words works best when I use it. I labeled my apartment in NYC with words written on tape. So if I were to walk into your place, I would see a lot of Korean words written everywhere, right? 아주 좋아요. You don't have to keep the labels on those furniture pieces or things in your apartment forever, right? 다 배웠으면 떼세요. And then you put new labels on different items. Here, I have a grammar question from JS. 안녕하세요. Does the grammar rules 고요 and 구요 have the same meaning? Yes, exactly the same meaning. The standard ending is 고요. So 고요 is like so and so and you're like finishing the sentence. Or you're like listing several facts like 여기는 교실이에요. 여기는 사무실이고요. So you can either go like 여기는 교실이고 여기는 사무실이에요. It's just a matter of style, but you can put this 고 at the end of this sentence and say 여기는 교실이에요. 여기는, like imagine you forgot to add that listing, parallel listing 고, and you're like, as an afterthought, you're adding it at the end. So you end your sentence like that. 여기는 사무실이고요. But then 이 구요, it's slightly related to a Seoul dialect, or it's just more casual sounding, and a lot of people, especially young people, they say 했고요, 구요. Yeah, I don't, because I'm a little older, but you can say that. All right, how about, we've been live for 70 minutes, so how about a couple more questions and then we wrap it up. By the way, we have all the information in the description of this live feed, this video, if you're watching the recording, for the books that I am showing you right here. So click on every single link if you want to do me a favor and browse through our bookstore. We're currently having a sale and you can learn Korean vocabulary much better. So, here I have a question. Should I learn new vocabulary daily? People might have different opinions about this, but I think you should. I think it's very, very good to try to learn new vocabulary daily. It's kind of like how stretching is really good. Stretching once in a while is good, but stretching your muscles every day is going to do wonders, right? It's really good for your body because it's never going to be unstretched. It's always in that active mode. So it's the same for learning new vocabulary. It doesn't have to be like 30 words a day. Even if it's like 3 words, your brain is going to be activated. It will stay active every day for new vocab, and you will feel like you want to learn even more and more, because you will get better and better. Just like by reading a lot of novels, you get faster and faster at reading books. You read more words in a minute. How did I learn English? By studying a lot. I actually learned it here mostly by myself, and I made a video about it a long time ago, so I need to update it somehow. It's on my personal YouTube channel. But it's my personal belief that if I was able to learn to speak English and some other languages at varying degrees without living in other countries for a long time, anybody can learn to speak Korean wherever they are. So that's why that was one of the reasons that I was able to start Talk to Me Korean with confidence and certainty that I can actually help people learn to speak the Korean language even without having to pack up, and move to Korea. Okay, one last question. Here, I see a few that I want to introduce, but it'll take too long, I'm afraid. Since we are talking about books, here, okay. I will answer these few. I will just take a screenshot of these few and answer them as the last bit of this live session. So, do you recommend the beginner package as the best way to learn? Yes, I do. It's one of the best ways. It's not maybe the best way because it might depend on the person, but yeah, if you haven't studied with our books or only studied with online materials, I think you will find that package really, really useful. And I am Binosaur. If I don't know a word or a whole sentence, would Google Translate or DeepL give me accurate translations? At this point, instead of Google Translate, I would recommend DeepL. And also you can ask ChatGPT or Bing.com to, Bing Chat to analyze it for you. You won't get like everything that you will need because it's not perfect yet, but you can definitely use the translation services or AI chat services. It'll definitely help you. It's better than not using anything. And Khan says, I wish I could watch Korean YouTube, but Korean people like making videos about food, so I always get hungry. You can always just press that 3 dots button and say, don't recommend this kind of content. And how to learn vocabulary fast. Learning fast is not the same as learning well, but you can set a reasonable goal of maybe learning 10 words a day, 20 words a day. If you are going for 10 words a day, I recommend this book, or if you're a beginner, I recommend this first book, 10 words a day. And even if you learn really fast through short-term memory check-based apps like Duolingo or other flashcards-based apps, you're going to forget them really fast too. So learn well, okay? Instead of learning fast. All right, so that's it. I'm going to type here 감사합니다. 오늘 라이브 수업에 참여해 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. 오늘 라이브 수업에 참여해 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. We're going to be back on the same day next week at a different time of day. So please check our YouTube community tab for the specific schedule, and we will schedule the next live session so that you can see it in advance and click on the notify me button in about 2 days time. So on Friday we'll schedule it many days ahead of schedule so that you can see it and expect it. So see me again next week, and study every day. Continuation and consistency will help you, will be your best friend. 정말 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 만나요. 바이바이.